regret if that's the message. I have not heard that in this debate. I think we're struggling to find some balance. And my guess is that the approaches that other cities have taken, like San Francisco, would cause even more concern to your industry. We're trying to find a balance, and we have an emergency, and we have people looking at significant rent increases that they can't cover. And so I just want you to know, I have not heard anything in this discussion that singles out the landlords as pariahs. We are trying to exercise our duty to regulate in an area where there's an emergency. And we're hoping to find the balance. And frankly, up until this point, I have found the relationship with the landlord community very productive. And a lot of the things we've done in the last few years, we would not have done without the full participation, cooperation of the landlord community, including Section 8 reform, including fair housing reform, and a lot of other, and the efforts to police substandard housing. I mean, the community's been a full partner, so I regret that there's a sense that they're now quote-unquote pariahs because we're talking about some common sense rent protections.
Yeah, Commissioner Fish, I appreciate that, and I think that you'll find that my organization has been at the table on the Section 8, on the affordable housing issues. We've been there, we've talked about it, we want to help. We really do, but I think you probably see in this room the actual evidence of what I'm talking about pariahs. There's lots of stories about bad actors. God, I know they're out there, and I wish I could find them so that I could go and take care of them. There's bad actors, yes, but for the most part, we're good people. And when we talk about the basic needs that you have to pay in your monthly paycheck, we're talking about housing, food, clothing, and transportation. And housing is the one area where it seems like it's an us versus them, and we don't want it that way. This, like I said in the beginning, this is not a landlord versus tenant issue. This is a supply versus demand issue.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take the next three, please.
Mary Haynes, Star, and Mary Jo Stahl.
Mr. Stoll's not here so much.
I'm coming down.
Is he coming down? All right. Why don't you come on up? We'll take him next if he's coming down upstairs. We'll get
We
to
do have some seats downstairs if anybody wants to come in and testify and wants to come on down.
Okay, Marion, I think you're first.
Good afternoon, Mayor Hale and members of the council. My name is Marion Haynes and I represent the Portland Business Alliance. I'm here to speak just on the declaration of emergency ordinance before you and to say that we very much appreciate this ordinance coming forward. As you know, for some time we've been saying we have a crisis on our streets and in our parks with the homeless population. And so the increased focus and urgency to act that this brings we think is a very, very good thing. As you know, we started a petition asking for some additional focus on increased shelter space, services for those who want and need them, and also for enforcement for some of the illegal activities that are occurring out there. A lot of times these behaviors are really preying on those most vulnerable that are on our streets. So we've had at this point about 3,300 community members sign on to that. Their mothers, fathers, citizens, some actual homeless people that have signed on in support of that. So we think this is a good first step. We know that it's a complicated issue and there's a lot to come, but we applaud the focus and we're ready to continue the conversation and be a part of the solution. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Who'd like to be next? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, councilors. My name is Margot Black. I think I've emailed you guys a few times. I'm 36. I'm a married mother of 3. My husband and I both have advanced degrees in mathematics and are professionally employed in careers relating to that. Together, we make at or above median income, just barely above. We were hoping to buy a house in Portland when we moved back here after graduate school, but essentially weak tenant protections has wiped out our savings and our ability to save. As a tenant, I received 2 no-cause evictions. I want to disabuse you of the notion that no-cause evictions are only issued for problem tenants. My first no-cause eviction was in 1998. I was a young single mom. I was recently orphaned, and my landlords believed that the coworker who was bringing me home after work was my boyfriend and didn't approve, and they gave me a no-cause eviction. I only found out when I sort of pressed them for the reason why, and I won't even repeat what they said, but I assure you that I was not in a position to have deserved that. I was a rent-paying good citizen. And I had to move 10 miles away from my apartment, and I ended up losing my job because of that, because I couldn't get to work reliably on time. And it was a really devastating experience. My next no-cause eviction was an owner move-in, which is sort of hard to say that they shouldn't be able to do that. But I just want to really quickly address, because I've heard so many people bring up this problem tenant issue, that no-cause evictions, they may be being used to raise rent, but I also want to point out that they don't need to issue a no-cause eviction to raise rent. We can just raise rents. And then if tenants can't pay them, they're faced with economic evictions. I think that if the 3014 isn't working, then we need to address that issue rather than allow no-cause evictions to be used for retaliatory and discriminatory purposes. I mean, if those problem tenants are in a lease, the only option would be a 3014, so I don't understand why the landlords feel like they have to retain this ability to issue those in other situations.
Wrap up soon.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, as I said, I'm a numbers person, and today I spent some time looking at how much it costs to move. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment, a 43-year-old apartment complex. I don't have a washer and dryer. I'll remind you that I have 3 children. I live 3 miles away from work, half a mile away from my kids' school. I searched Craigslist today for apartments that were less than or equal to my current rent, which is already 9% above HUD's FMR and 12% above the average rent listed in Portland Housing Bureau's State of Housing for my neighborhood. I found 15 listings in Multnomah County, 3 in Portland and 2 in Portland Public School District that are at or below my current rent. My commute to work right now is 11 minutes. It would go up to 45 minutes each way, same for my husband. I'd pay $60 less in rent, but $460 more in transportation and childcare associated costs with that additional transport time. And then there are the moving expenses. The deposit and application fees would be $2,050. Assuming that my 90-day notice is timed to coincide with my lease ending and I find replacement housing
I
quickly.
need you to stop. It is important. I wish if you could give that.
I
to
have
us.
emailed it to you before, and I would like it to be on the record. Okay?
Try to finish. sir.
Assuming that I find replacement housing quickly, then I either need to pay $3,625 in double rent, or a $2,265 lease break fee and $725 in double rent, which comes to $2,990. And then there are the moving expenses. The truck, the boxes, the time to pack, load, unpack, and clean. My husband is an hourly employee and bills for his hours. All of that comes to $1,915. Altogether, this comes to almost $7,000, which is $600 a month. If we assume I have to do this every year that I get, because we can issue these no-cause evictions at the end of every tenancy, that becomes untenable. And essentially, it means that families like mine will have to leave Portland in order to survive. And if a family like mine, I'm white and I make median income, I'm stably employed and I don't have any barriers, if I have to leave Portland because I can't afford to rent here, then what about everybody else?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Excuse me, this is the first time I've ever done any public speaking, but I'll do my best.
Just give us your
Thank
name
you very
and
much. My
proceed.
name is Nathan Starr,
Thank you.
and thank you very much, Commissioners and Mayor. Am I coming in loud and clear? Or am I-
Yeah, you're fine. Either mic works.
All right. I'll wrap this up in a quick nutshell here. I'm a gentleman who's 40 years old, and on my 25th birthday, I got run over by a 14-ton forklift by my co-worker twice in less than 10 seconds. I've had 19 surgeries and spent over 70 days at OHSU. I have a 15-year-old autistic child that I've had primary custody for since he was born. Recently, my son and I were given a no-cause eviction for retaliatory major tactics, I believe, but nonetheless, I'm paying $1,075 for my 3-bedroom apartment, and the people below me are paying $500 more. They just moved in a few months ago. I had this ready for you to, I wanted to read this for you if you don't mind. Keep it on point. So I said, I've recently been given a no-cause eviction notice despite the fact that there are no complaints on record and rent has always been paid. My son and I have lived here for over 5 years and I was not given the option to release. I have submitted an application for low-income housing to the Clackamas County Housing Authority, but my son and I need emergency housing while we wait for this housing to become available. My son and I are to be moved out no later than November 8, 2015. As a result of this no-cause eviction, and because I have no savings at all for myself and my 15-year-old son, of whom I have primary custody, I'm asking for financial help in order to pay movers to move my son and me. I believe the property management company is utilizing retaliatory tactics in order to evict my son and I because I informed them of serious safety concerns and code violations and incidences of illegal entry by workers hired by the management company. Losing one's home, regardless of its problems, is especially unsettling for a youth of whom a home and neighborhood have been so central to his security. And his particular disability requires a settled situation as soon as possible. Though an adult, I continue to be impacted by multiple hardships and issues from my injuries and congenital disabilities. My son and I would greatly appreciate the assistance of all of you to make the best candid and honest and forthright, conscientious decision possible for us Oregonians out there who are getting displaced for no reason whatsoever. The fact that my son and myself's lives have been uprooted for months now. We just finished with court and somewhat of a victory. I'm not allowed to explain it right now, but nonetheless, nobody should have to be forced with these no-cause evictions. You know, if one person is owed $1 to an apartment company, they're not allowed to take retaliatory actions. If $1. And to be given no-cause evictions without having to be told why is also unconscionable and inhumane. And I'm wondering why the one-year moratorium, Mr. Salzman, would be something to debate when 1 year is the conscionable, humane thing to do at this given time, not only in Multnomah County, but on all of Oregon, all of Oregonians.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well said. Okay. Yes. All right. Questions for these folks? Thank you all very much. Thank you. Okay. Who do we have still signed up?
Next would be Mary Jo Stoll, Edith Zadunich, and Miranda Milligan.
Okay. Come on up, please. All right. Let's take these two folks and then we'll call some more. Mr. Stahl, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Barry Joe Stoll. As we sit here, your partner, and your partner, and your partner, and your partner, and Commissioner Fish, your partner, my former landlord, PCRI, has been keeping the entire 5-apartment complex at 4066 Northeast Grand Avenue vacant for 4 years. An affordable housing landlord provider. Now, when I spoke with this, the last time I had a candid conversation with Commissioner Fish, it was last Halloween. I said, they're keeping the 5-plex vacant. He said, that's crazy. Yes. When Chief O'Day was sitting over here and I said, go get him, Tiger, that was just, everybody knows it's organized crime. So I'm going to tell you who you're dealing with. My sister researched on up. She's eligible for the Daughters of the American Revolution. I'm eligible for the Sons of the American Revolution. Turns out my folks, after we kicked England out in the Revolutionary War, building a house, had to take a break, fight the War of 1812. Won that, went back and finished the house. 200 years later,